What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you guys how to do advanced motion tracking in Blender. And firstly guys, I want to thank you for supporting my channel. In today's of recording this video, I hit 1000 subscribers on YouTube, and thank you guys for supporting me, for engaging my channel, for commenting, for liking my videos. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate. Now let's come to the tutorial. Okay, first thing you want to do now is to go to the motion tracking workspace. Now you click on this plus sign and come to VFX, then choose motion tracking. Select that. Now before we import our footage, I just want to change something really quick. Just click here. Now come down to color management, then select view transform, change it from filmic to standard. Alright, now click on open, then load in your footage like so. Alright, now you can see the footage I'm using right now. And in Blender, it's better you use image sequence instead of using movie clip for this. Alright, now to import your video as image sequence, you just need to click on this add, come to movie editing, then choose video editing. Alright, now you can import your footage like normal. Just click here, drag your footage in. Alright, like so. Now you need to delete the audio, I don't need it, and if you do, you can leave that. The timeline also, I need to decrease it to match my footage size. Okay, now I'll just come down and select a directory for this. Okay, then I will hit render. Now click render animation. As you can see guys, this is rendering as image sequence. Let me show you. When you click here, you see a lot of bunch of images here that is rendered as image. Alright, and when it's done, we'll come back to the tutorial. Okay guys, and this is done rendering, and what you need to do is now is to import this bunch of images as image sequence. And to do this, just come back to motion tracking. Now this is a movie clip, and instead of that, we just click here to add a new, then select, just click here and drag it into this workspace, then press A to select all and select open clip. Now we have the bunch of images which rendered as image sequence. Click here to set scene frame and click on prefetch. Alright, this is done, and what I want to show you guys, instead of just adding tracking markers to this like normal, we generate tracking markers automatically, and this is really cool. Let me show you. First thing I want to do now is to just click on our basic routine, just click on the normalize, change it from location. You can change it to location rotation, but I like it to leave it in location. Okay, change it from keyframe to previous frame. Okay, now click here. We can add a search to this, but let's leave this as a default for now. Alright, now click here. When you come down to markers here, you see detailed features. Now click on that. Alright, now you see that we automatically generate trackers into this footage. Now when you click here, just open this. Now when you decrease this threshold, you see that we generate a lot of tracking markers right now. And when you decrease this distance also, you see that we generate a lot of this, which is really nice. Okay, now we just leave it as this. Now we can just track this automatically. Okay, now just click here to track. Instead of doing this right now, just clean up this first. Okay, now press, you can just select the trackers that are on the guy here, just to delete that. I don't need that because that will run this process. Okay, so you don't want to track a moving object in your scene whenever you are doing camera tracking. Okay, now you can track this. Press A to select all, then track forward. Now you see that this is really slow because we are tracking a bunch of trackers right now, and that is the reason why it's running slow. Okay, for the sake of this tutorial, I will just skip this. Alright guys, now this is John tracking, and you can see this X and Y value of these trackers. Okay, now you can see this, that this is really rough, and we have some rough trackers here, which is not really nice and it's not good for our solve. Okay, what I will do now is to clean up this track, and to clean up trackers, just come down here, click on solve. Okay, now just click on clean up, just open that, and we need to add a keyframe to this, add a frame to this, and error to this. Now I will just choose 5 and frame to 20 frames. Okay, then I will just click on clean up. Now you see that we don't have a lot of trackers selected. We are not okay. Now we need to select filter. Okay, now when you select this, just select filter. Now we need to decrease or increase this threshold. Just increase it to 10, and you see that a lot of trackers is selected, but we have some few trackers that are not selected. Now let's replace this to 20 for now, because I don't want to delete all the trackers. Okay, now let's delete this. Press X to delete that. Now the tracker we delete is the bad tracks, and you see that this really do a good job for us, and you can see that all the rough trackers are deleted. Alright, and this is exactly what we want for this. Now we can just manually delete all the trackers that we don't want here. Just select this by left click and press X to delete. Now you just have to take your time to delete all these bad tracks. Alright, this is looking neat now. Now let's go ahead and track the remaining frames, and you can see that this tracker doesn't go to the end. You can see on the screen that the tracker doesn't go to the end of the frame, and we need to continue tracking this. Instead of that, we track from backward to forward this time. Now just click here to the end frame. Now we can track backward. Okay, now let's come back to track here. Now select detect features once again. Now we have a bunch of trackers here, but before we do that, let's go back first. Let's press A, select all that track, the one we track, that we have a good track here. Now let's hide them. Press H to hide all those tracks. Okay, now go back to the end of this frame. Now select detect features. Alright, now let's track backward. Now this is not really nice because we have a lot of bad tracks here. Let's delete this and retract this. Okay, detect features. Now let's increase this threshold. Alright, and also to decrease this distance. Okay, this is okay. Now let's delete the trackers on the body because we don't want to track moving objects. You can just press C and tick like this. Now you can select all that at once. Now press X to delete that. Now press A and track backward. Okay, depending on the movement of the shot, we have a lot of bad tracks here, and we have a lot of lost track, and we can just take care of that and by tracking some manual track here. So let's clean up this really quick. We don't have to do automatic cleaning here. We can just do this manually because we don't have so much of tracking markers here. Okay, now let's clean this up really quick. As you can see, this curve determines how good our tracker is or our tracking is. You can see this that this curve is not going along with each other, and if you have some curve that is too going far from each other, now you can tell that this is a bad track. Like this, you can see that. Just delete that. Okay, now we need to add, press A to select all that and hide them. Now we need to add some manual track. Okay, now we need to add some manual trackers to this, and for this we just change some few settings here. Click on this location and change it to affine, and click here to click display. Now tick search. Alright, now we can see that we have some. Now let's tick some trackers. Just press Ctrl and click. Now you can resize this, then track. So I don't like doing automatic tracking when doing this, so I like to do it frame by frame. Just click here. Now you can see that this tracker lost. Just press G to grab it and put it back to position, then continue tracking. G, grab it, put it back to position. G. So you have to do this manually, just to do it. Now you can see that this is really not doing well. Now you can just do automatic tracking. You just track everything at once. Alright, that is done. Now let's do another track. Let's pick another marker. Let's pick here. Okay, now track. You can see this lock again. Press G to grab. Depends on the movement of the camera, that makes the tracker to lost so quickly like that. Okay, track, G grab, put it back to position, track. Now track, continue tracking. Now you can track all the shot like this. Now press G, lost again, put it back to position, then track. Now you can continue tracking. Alright, now this is done and it tracked throughout the whole shot correctly. Now let me just do the remaining tracker myself because I don't want to take so much of the time. Okay guys, I just want to show you something really quick. Now in this tracking, you see that I ran off these trackers, and let me show you the next frame. And you can see that this tracker lost, and what we do now is to just clean before the frame, just like this, just clean off before the frame, then come to where the tracker will be more visible again and continue tracking. Now press A and press G to grab it, put it back to position, then continue tracking. G, put it back to position, then continue tracking, and you can just track all the whole sequence at once. Now you can see that this is really nice, and this is how to tackle such trackers. Alright guys, now I'm done doing these trackers and I've tracked 7 markers. Okay, now let me just, what we do now is to bring back all our tracking we did. Just press Alt and press H to bring back all those trackers. Now you can see that we have a bunch of tracking markers here, and which is really good. It's better you have more trackers in your shot, and that will give you a better solve. Okay, now the next thing to do is to solve our camera. Okay, and before we do that, we need to import some settings here. Now come back to tracks here. Now come to camera. Now you need to input your camera sensor size, everything here, and I will just put my own, which is 23.5, and also our lens I shot with, which is 24mm lens I shot with. Okay, now that is done about that, and let's come to solve here. In this solve section, we need to input the keyframe of this. We can put it manually, but we don't really know the keyframe of the smoothest side of this, so we just click auto keyframe to do that job for us. Now so this refine, let's leave it to nothing for now and click on solve camera motion. Okay guys, now you can see that we have the error solve of 0.9, which is really good, and we can use this for our footage, but we can still do a lot more better with this. And let's do some things. Let's click on this refine and choose key 1, key 2, which is the lens distortion for this. Now let's calculate that again, and can see that this error solve come down to 0.8, which is really good for this, and we can use this. And I want to quickly show you one thing. When you come down here to scene, let's go to edit, choose preferences, then come to add-on. Now press tracks. Now you click on video to refine track solution. Click that. Now you need to save this. Okay, that is done. Now come back here, scroll down. Now you see refine. Okay, now let's click on this refine and wait. Okay, now you can see that this error solve come down rapidly to 0.0.7, which is really amazing for this. And this is how to do motion tracking properly in Blender, and this is really looking nice, and it is amazing to know that we have these features here in Blender, but a lot of people is not using these features. Okay, now let's set up our scene and add object to this. Okay, now to do this, just come down to scene. Now set up scene frame, also create background. Okay, this is done. Now we need to orient our scene. Okay, and to orient our scene properly, we need to pick 3 markers from the floor to set the floor. Click here and click the 3 markers you like that is parallel to the ground. Okay, now come down here to floor. Now you can see floor, set this as floor. Okay, now you can see that our scene is oriented to the according to our floor. You can see this, and we can scale this down also. You can see it. Now let's pick an origin. Let's use this as our origin. Select this, set origin. Okay, now this is our origin point, and let's come to 3D now. Now we can raise this up a little because it's underground right now. Okay, now when you play this footage, now you see that this is well tracked. Okay, now it is nice to see that our tracking markers are doing well and our scene is oriented properly to this. Okay, we can just orient this a little bit to look better. Okay, now you can see this properly. Okay, now to bring back our tracking marker, just click here, click on motion tracking, then we see our tracking markers in 3D. Okay, now you can see this, you can figure out where the gate is and all things in the scene. Like this markers here, this is the gate, and when we put an object to this, let's put an object to this, go to selected, let's put the cube, let's scale it down. Now you can see that this stick to the gate, and this is really nice to see this, and this is how properly you can do motion tracking in Blender, and this is how to do this. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.